I'm here in Vegas for the very final round of F1 Academy this year, and I'm here with Lia Block, who is having her very final round of F1 Academy as a whole. How are you feeling? You've had 2 really strong seasons coming into this series, and now you're all done.
A lot of different emotions, that's for sure. You know, we've still got one more day, one more chance. Obviously at another trophy. But yeah, it's been a long 2 years and definitely an eventful 2 seasons. And obviously coming from rally and not knowing anything about single-seaters or never touching an F4 car before, it's definitely been a journey and one that I'm very proud of. You know, I've developed so much as a driver, matured as a person. You know, there's so many hurdles that I had to overcome and lots of success at the end of this year, but definitely sad to be moving on.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people may or may not know about you have one of the most unique paths to coming into F1 Academy versus some of the other drivers. You started in rally, and not only did you start in rally, you were dominating in rally. And I'm curious for you, like you said, it's taken you time to adjust. How is it kind of managing the mental game of being so young at the very top of another series and coming into something that's a completely new challenge?
Yeah, well, first of all, very difficult. That's how I would explain it. But yeah, from winning, you know, the rally championship in the U.S. to starting from scratch, basically. I did a little bit of karting when I was younger, but nothing to the extent of the girls in this series that, you know, their background is completely and wholly in open wheel racing.
Right.
So I've definitely had to, you know, switch mindsets, kind of switch off my off-road and rally brain and just learn from scratch. And it was really humbling at first, you know. I did think it was going to be a bit easier than it actually was, but the competition in F1 Academy is very, very high. And I think if you look at some stats, you will find that very true. So yeah, it's just learning and taking the small little steps as really big wins, you know. And once all the puzzle pieces fell into place and we started, you know, gaining positions and getting that success, then, you know, it's just so rewarding when you work so hard for something.
Would you walk us through kind of the differences in terms of how you had to reset your training? Because it is, to some people who are not super familiar with motorsports, it's like car, wheel, drive, sure. But
same, right?
Yeah, right? But it's completely different. Yeah.
I mean, I would say like the biggest things would probably be, I mean, of course, mentally, you know, it's just such a different discipline, and the way you drive this car is so different, and, you know, the precision you do have to have with those little gains, and, you know, you're trying to brake 5 meters later, and that sounds so easy, but it's so difficult on track. And just even being able to read data and know, like, okay, you kind of have to reset sometimes because you're literally fighting for tenths, and you can't even, like, snap your finger in a second, and that's, like, way more than you should be off, you know? So, but also physically, you know, I'm in the gym every day, you know, if I can be, just physically getting ready for races like this, because it's so demanding on your entire body.
Yeah, one of the things I was talking about with a couple of the other drivers, it's come up multiple times when I've talked about sort of like the strength that it takes for you guys to drive these cars. We always think about the neck because of the G-forces, but also your leg strength has to change completely for your ability to brake in a tight corner. And so kind of looking at it, I always wish people understood how strong you guys are training. Like,
it's definitely something that's very undertold. You know, that the strength that and all the hard work behind the scenes, all the hours in the gym that we actually do. For me, going into it, like, I think my neck strength was something that I worked on probably the most.
Sure.
Because I've always been a very, very active person growing up. I've done lots of sports, so my leg strength, you know, and as women, we usually have a little bit stronger legs than the men, so don't have to work on that much. But yeah, definitely, like, neck strength, upper body as well, just like the chest area. Just trying to, like, for, you know, turning an F1 car, like, it's not traditional, like, bicep curls, or, like, it's very, like, muscle specific. And yeah, it's difficult to kind of tap into that and grow those certain muscles, especially for women, you know?
Yeah. For you also, you were just as one of the biggest stars of F1 The Academy, the Netflix show, when you were doing season 1. We're really following you through, and we're kind of watching you adjust to this new world and kind of going through, adjusting to a different type of competitor, a different type of world in that. How did it feel to have a lot of what you're talking about, those ups and downs of your first season, documented and then broadcast?
I mean, honestly, really cool. I remember watching the first episode for the first time. I'm like, why do I sound like that? Or, whoa, why did they put that in there? You know, they filmed so much last year, and it was really cool to see what got in and what didn't, you know? But I think that story of being told and actually people being able to see a bit behind the scenes of, you know, my journey, and I think you can really see how I changed confidence-wise throughout that as well. So it was really cool to have that, and we have them filming here as well. So hopefully it's season 2 coming. Get that first win in there. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. And then for you, is there anything, now the perception of women in motorsport is really changing, but you've also been one of the people that we've been talking about in motorsport in another series for a very long time. Have you felt like stepping away from rally and coming here, there's something different in the way women are perceived, or that maybe rally also needs to make some changes similar to this?
I mean, it's definitely a cultural shift within the entire sports world. You know, we're seeing a big, you know, influx in viewers in WNBA and just women's rugby from the Olympics. Like, there's so many different, you know, things becoming so much more, like, eyes on them from social media. And I think, obviously, social media is a huge part of that. But I think here with F1 Academy actually having a stage, being alongside F1, and then having people to promote it and having these amazing sponsors behind it just really helps. And I think if we can get that into other forms of motorsports like rally, it will really take off, because people just love to see stories nowadays. They love to be able to connect with drivers personally. And I think it's a really great philosophy, especially with what F1 Academy is doing. And, you know, hopefully we see that grow.
Yeah, I think so. And and also you're doing this, like you said, with a major, not only major brands, but also a major F1 team backing you. How has working with Williams been?
Oh, incredible. Like, it just sums it up. But, like, obviously coming in as a complete outsider, you know, coming from a complete different sport, and they instantly welcomed me as a family. And it was, you know, incredible to be able to work with two of, you know, some of the most talented F1 drivers, you know, on the grid nowadays, and to be able to gain insight from them and watch them evolve with the team as well, and see how much work they put in behind the scenes, because it really is a huge family over there, and, you know, all the little different cogs in the machine have to work together to make these drivers be able to go as fast as they can on the track. So just being able to learn behind the scenes with them, and the support that they've given me is so amazing. Like, to see James and Sven at the podium in Singapore when I won, like, it's so heart-touching, and I've just had such an amazing experience.
Yeah, and it was so exciting to finally see you standing on that podium. It felt so hard-earned. And
It was,
you
for
know.
sure.
Can you tell us what it's like when you hold that trophy up, though?
Well, actually, our F1 Academy trophies are very heavy. To be honest, like, the number one, you're, like, barely hold it up with one arm. It's, like, 25 pounds. But, no, I mean, it's just so incredible, because, you know, that one piece of, like, you know, metal is, like, the whole of my, you know, efforts that I've put in the past 2 seasons. So to finally get that, it just, you know, felt so good, and definitely emotional, you know.
It's a good emotion to have, and I loved watching your mom also after was just...
No, I was looking down from the podium, and I could see her crying, so I had to, like, look away, or it was going to make me cry. Like, I was trying to feel very composed up there.
It's very beautiful. Okay, the last question I have for you is kind of a silly one.
Okay.
Hello Kitty is officially in your paddock this weekend, right? She's famously 5 apples tall.
5 apples tall.
5 apples tall.
I haven't heard that.
That's the measurement of unit for Hello Kitty's height. How many apples tall do you think you are?
I don't know. I mean, I met her the other day, but obviously she's probably not to scale. As in the cartoon. I feel like I'm a bit taller than Hello Kitty. I'll say, like, 6 apples tall. Sure.
Okay, the average apple is actually 4 inches tall.
4 inches?
Yeah.
I don't do math.
Okay.
So, I don't know. You guys calculate it for me.
Yeah, we'll do the math later.
I'm some apples tall.
You are definitely a handful of apples tall. Well, thank you so much, Lia. Good luck in your last round.
Thank you so much.